Quick about it. First, there's a common misunderstanding of the word faith that a lot of ourselves, myself especially, have fallen prey to growing up. Next, I'm going to present an alternative understanding. Next thing, we're going to compare these understandings. After that, we're going to talk about how do I use the word faith every day now with this better understanding. Also, how do I strengthen my faith? So, I don't want to spend too much time on the table of contents. Let's dive straight into it. First, let's address a common misunderstanding of the word faith. Who wants to have a go at giving a definition of the word faith? Someone have an idea? Justin?
Definition of faith,
Yeah, give a definition.
believing on something that you haven't yet seen, trusting someone that will promise.
Yeah, that's a good definition. Anyone else have another? Not sure. What do you think?
It's just a strong belief.
Yeah, a strong belief is faith. Okay, the common misunderstanding is that faith is belief without evidence. Now, there is belief without things having been directly visible, which is really, I think I really like that definition because it specifies that it's based on evidence that is not visible, which we'll dive into. But it's also on the line of people thinking, oh, that means faith is belief without evidence, right? And a lot of kids, myself included, grow up believing that. So, belief without evidence, I did some diving into it because I grew up with that sort of definition, is actually not called faith, it is called blind faith. Is that in everyone's head? Blind faith, because you don't actually have an evidence, you don't actually have a reason convincing you of said belief. And as we know, faith needs evidence or else it is blind. Faith without evidence is blind faith. Is that clear in our heads? Yeah? Awesome. Now, what actually is faith then, if it's not belief without evidence? I found the best way to approach it is to look back at the history of the word. We go through faith, mid-13th centuries. If you look at the definitions, we have Old French, faith or foi. You can look at the synonyms there, faith, belief, trust, confidence, and confidence as a synonym. As we go back, we see Latin as well. Fides, fideris, trust, faith, confidence, reliance, credence, belief. You might have heard of sola fide if you've come across Reformed theology. That just means that we are saved through faith alone. So that's what Martin Luther stamped at the door. Yeah, so faith is belief based on evidence. That's the alternative understanding I'm sort of presenting here. And another word for that I think we should use is confidence. Or when we hear the word faith, I think we should think confidence. Yep. Let me put an illustration. We're going to our next camp soon. Somehow there's a point where we can't drive across. There's a river, so we have to walk our luggage across. We've got to walk our families across the river, and we come across these two bridges. Is this clearly visible to everyone? Would someone like to give a reason, or would someone like to give an explanation which bridge you'd pick and why that's the case?
I would pick this one because it's safe, it looks safe at least.
It looks safe, right? Why do you think it looks safe?
Because it has support underneath,
As a support?
and the water current underneath is not dangerous.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so there could be two different parts of the river. One is raging and has rocks. I guess they both have rocks. But you have two different bridges. You see this process of selecting, okay, which bridge am I confident in? Which bridge should I take my family over, take my luggage over to get to the campsite? Obviously, you look at the left bridge, the evidence you collect is like, okay, it's made out of sticks. It looks like it's tied together by branch vines that look like they can snap any moment. I want to release my weight here, but I'm not getting on that. But yeah, as you can clearly see, the bridge on the right, as you can see, has a strong concrete basing. Looks like you could drive a whole car or a whole truck over it, let alone just walking over it, as opposed to the bridge on the left. So that exercise sort of shows that for you to have faith in an object, so I have faith in the bridge on the right, we still need to collect evidence. We still go through the process of collecting evidence of what we can see, and then we make an assessment. Yeah? Now, Now we are going to do this comparison when it comes to Christian faith. Before we were talking about the word faith, yeah? Talking about the generic definition, you see the word faith in plenty of books. But Christian faith we come across in the Bible. Now the comparison I want to see if we can make is Christian faith blind or is it evidence-based? Now, the process I think we should approach doing this is called reductio ad absurdum. It's a Latin phrase. Does anyone have a guess? Want to have a guess what it means?
No.
Huh? You don't want to have a guess, Kieran? Justin, reductio ad absurdum. The English translation is reduction to absurdity. It's a mathematics concept.
You're taking evidence essentially to agree that believing it would be.
Yeah, or you're taking a claim and going through the claim. You're analyzing the claim, and then you hit a absurdity or contradiction. So another word for this is proof by contradiction. Yeah. So reductio ad absurdum is another word for proof by contradiction. If you guys have flashbacks to when you went to high school and had to do proofs in high school, actually do maths advanced. I don't know if you're in this group here. Beside that, we are going to challenge whether Christian faith is blind or evidence-based. Now, the steps we take in proof by contradiction is we first assume the opposite, okay? We take what we want to disprove and we assume it is true. And then as we keep on diving, we keep on digging deeper, and then we hit a rock and say like, contradiction, this option cannot be true. That's how proof by contradiction works. So we're going to first start by building the case for Christianity being blind faith. Now, when you actually dive into the people who are making this sort of case, it is entirely based on a misinterpretation of a set of 3 verses, which I found after a few hours of diving. There could be more, but it will usually follow the same pattern. And these verses are Hebrews 11:1, 2 Corinthians 5:7, John 20:29. Who's got their phones on them? Okay. Okay, I'll put it up there. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and sure about what we do not see. Naisha, you're on your phone. Do you want to check out 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7? Emmanuel Uncle, can you check John 20:29?
Chapter 5, verse 7.
Oh, no, that one would be Naisha.
Okay.
Yeah, you go on John 20:29. Naisha, what do you have? Loud and clear.
Do I just read?
Just read it to us. Yeah. 5 verse 7. Just the one verse.
Chapter 5?
Yeah.
For we live by faith, not by sight.
We live by faith, not by sight. And Emmanuel, go take yours.
John
Sounds great.
20:29. Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed."
Nice. Now, I really am excited that Joshua Uncle gave this definition at the front because the proper misinterpretation, sorry, not the proper misinterpretation, just the misinterpretation of these set of verses, which appear to be giving a case for blind faith, Christianity being blind faith, is that Christian faith has no evidence at all. And it's an important distinction because what Christian faith has is it's actually based on inferential evidence. I'm sure you guys are thinking, what is inferential evidence, right? I'm sure some of you will know, I doubt all of you know what it is. Inferential evidence, evidence that is not necessarily directly visible, as Josh Uncle said, but supports claims through inference, indirect observation, or the effects that are observable. I'm going to give you guys some examples. First thing, I'll give you guys some examples of inferential evidence. And I'll first make this claim that most of what you believe, most of the claims you believe that are in your head are based on inferential evidence. So not directly seeing something. Is Russia and Ukraine at war right now? Does anyone disagree? No? Hands up if you've seen the Russian war with your eyes at the scene. No, you guys haven't seen it, but you know there's a war there? Why is that?
we see through media.
Yeah, you see through media, you see the news, you see the videos. These videos are obviously like direct, visible. They're not like windows that you actually can see through. They're selective recordings, so you know whatever. But you see a bunch of articles, you see a bunch of commentary on it, on the topic. So that's like a current affair. A current affair like this, you base on inferential evidence, something you don't directly see. Next thing, did an atomic bomb hit Hiroshima? So we're going historical. Anyone see the bomb? Anyone see a video of the bomb hitting Hiroshima?
Imagination we have seen.
Yeah, in imagination, for sure, yeah.
You have the impact.
Yeah. You had, wait, did you hear the impact? No.
I haven't seen.
No.
We haven't seen.
Yeah, exactly. So what is documented about the event of the bomb landing at Hiroshima, we know. We know that science is very well capable to create a monstrosity like that. And we trust the historical testimonies, thousands of testimonies about this bomb, thousands of descriptions of what happened. We can still see the remains. Obviously, it's not like until I see the remains, only then will I believe the bomb hit Hiroshima. We're very confident that the bomb hit Hiroshima based on inferential evidence. Next thing, does the atom exist? Obviously, you guys are looking at atoms, but have you seen the individual protons and neutrons clumped together, the nucleus and the electrons spinning around? It's a big thing in science. This atomic model is a strong foundation for what we base our modern and future science on. Next thing, does Nietzsche have a brain? I know this has been like up to huge debate growing up, but hopefully by the way I articulate, hopefully by the way I speak, the way I posture myself, you guys can infer that I may have something in there. It has been challenged before, thankfully. That's fine. So we'll go back to the case of Christianity being blind faith. Obviously, we look at these verses, we see the misinterpretation, we see the true interpretation, and how these verses align better with the correct interpretation. So, therefore, the Bible does not support the claim that Christian faith should be categorized as blind faith. Yeah? But the Bible does the opposite. So the proof by contradiction technically ends here, but let's actually hit the nails in the coffin and put this to sleep. The case for Christianity being evidence-based. Acts 1:3, we have Paul talking about Jesus, how he appeared to everyone over a period of 40 days after his resurrection, and he gave many convincing proofs that he was alive to these people. Next, we have 1 Peter 1:16, talking about how belief in Jesus was not based on cleverly devised stories or fables, but they were eyewitnesses, or they're eyewitness testimonies, so they're reporting things they have seen. Do you still have John 20:29 open?
Yeah.
We'll read up to 31.
Okay. Then Jesus told him, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name.
That's right. But these are written. These are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah. It wouldn't make sense if John chapter 20 is making the case for blind faith, and then a few verses later says, okay, but here's the evidence. You know, that doesn't make sense on the author's part. But it does align well if Christianity is supported to be based on evidence-based faith, right? Now, there's plenty of other options. I'll speed this up to be quick. The entire 1 Corinthians 15, which is like a witness list of who witnessed the resurrected Jesus. Sermon on the Mount about false prophets. Jesus teaches us to be skeptical and to analyze the evidence so that we do not fall prey to wolves in sheep's clothing. So we can well conclude that Christian faith is evidence-based. Now, be quick and we'll tackle the last two parts. How should we use the word faith now with this understanding? This is this is pretty opinionated, but I think it could vary from each one of you depending on what kind of situations you face throughout the day when discussing the word, when someone challenges your faith, or wants to hear more about your religious beliefs, whatnot. My belief is we should use the word faith, but don't throw me out yet. Why should we not use the word faith? Let's take these two case examples. I have faith in Jesus Christ. That's a common saying that I'm sure we hear. Another is my Christian faith is strong. That's a common saying I've said growing up. The first reason, it's a buzzword. Okay. What that means is words such as faith, gospel, sins, even phrases such as Jesus died for my sins. These sorts of phrases, they are true. They have truth. They can be used theologically correctly. But when it comes to practically speaking with someone, when you're sharing the gospel to someone, their brains turn off and they say, "Oh, it's Christian stuff," right? Now that's the first reason Christian buzzword. Even Christians as well. When I hear a sermon and different words and phrases are put together, sometimes I have to like pause and piece it together because I've heard these words so much growing up that my brain just turns off hearing these words. The same is for whoever you're ministering to. Now, the next thing is that many people find it hard to define or understand faith, like not even non-Christians, but Christians as well. Many have the wrong definition of understanding, which is why we tackled that misunderstanding to begin with, that faith is based on no evidence, and also it's an unrelatable word. The only time you hear the word faith in discussion every day, in everyday discussion, is only when there's like a religious topic coming up, maybe at like the workplace lunch table. The word faith is brought up, and 99 times out of 100, it's going to be the topic of religion, right? Now, obviously, we need a solution to this problem. I can't just say, don't use that word, just leave it at that, right? I think we should use the word confidence. You guys remember that synonym? So let's revise why I think we should use the word confidence. I have confidence that Jesus really resurrected. You notice how this line now opens the discussion and actually gets the responder to actually think through that statement you said and can actually process it, rather than simple, I have faith in Jesus Christ, right? Next, my confidence in Christianity is strong. You know how the word confidence is now all of a sudden tackling these reasons from before? First, it's not a Christian buzzword, it's a word we hear every day. Every time we hear the word confidence, our brain processes what's the context that the word confidence is being used in. Next, many people know the definition of confidence, many people have the correct understanding and the correct definition of confidence, and it's an everyday word. You hear it in plenty other topics. So for people who don't talk about religion and don't know the word faith, they still use the word confidence in every other topic they're talking, right? So if you're reaching out to someone who hasn't heard of religion before, the word faith is going to be hieroglyphics to them. You want a word that relates to them and how they speak every day. And I think the word confidence is a good substitute for that. So that's why, in my humble opinion, I think we should use the word confidence for most cases. Maybe you have a few cases where the word faith may be more appropriate, but after like 3 weeks of preparation, I couldn't think of a single case, but who knows. Last part, I'll be quick. How should we strengthen my Christian faith? Who remembers this definition of, what is that?
Confidence, yeah. How can you say faith?
My Christian confidence, right. Now, yeah, right, sorry. I will change that. That was a copy paste slide. So faith is, remember the definition we cooked up for faith? By the way, the context for when I said we should substitute the word confidence in faith is when we're have like everyday discussion. Yeah. So for this presentation, you all are Harvard professors, so I hope you can excuse me for that overlook. So who remembers this definition of faith that we sort of cooked up? I hope you. Belief based on evidence. What's a synonym for this?
Confidence.
Confidence, that's right. It's confidence. So if we want to strengthen our faith, we need to strengthen our confidence. If we want to strengthen our confidence, exactly, we need to learn the evidence. We need to strengthen our evidence, okay? How do we do that? Well, I'll quickly tackle why we should do that. In the first place, obviously, we want to improve, we want to strengthen our faith, and the Bible does not shy away from asking Christians to strengthen your faith. In fact, it's a direct command to all of you as Christians. You all should be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. That's that part. I'm praying that God installs it. judge us in respect of instead of context, but that's fine. It's pretty clear that Peter here is communicating to us that we are to have reasons prepared, be able to articulate our reason for our faith. For example, certain questions. Why are you a Christian? That's a question I'm sure some people will ask you. I would really doubt that someone can go through an entire lifetime without having to face this question if you're a Christian. Let's simulate a conversation. Why am I a Christian? I'm going to answer because I am confident, remember, using the word confidence, confident that Jesus truly resurrected. Now they're able to join in on the discussion because they understand every word in that sentence, right? The word faith, if that was in there, maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, discussion ends, right? Because they can't process the word faith, because it's just not an everyday discussion. Sorry, I don't have to go through the reasoning every time, but you get the point why I use confidence. So they'll ask, why is that? Simple. Insert the evidence you study, insert the way you articulate them. There's different ways to articulate them, different tactics. There's this book called Tactics by Greg Koukl. I spit that book out everywhere I go. I really love that book. Simple. Just learn the evidence, learn how to articulate it, learn how to answer simple questions like why Christian, or learn how to present the evidence for why you truly believe Jesus resurrected. Not that it was some story made by the disciples or any other theory that's come up. Yeah. So, if you guys didn't pay attention this whole time, this is probably the slide you want. Okay, we'll be very quick with something. Faith without evidence is
Blind faith.
blind faith. Perfect. Now, blind faith is not faith, correct? True faith is based on evidence. Another word for faith is confidence. Perfect. Now let's go over the basis dot points. Faith without evidence is blind faith. Confidence without evidence is gullibility. Now, I can say blind gullibility. That would make more sense to say, but I could have said blind confidence, but blind confidence is gullibility. I mean, you fall for anything. You don't need evidence to believe anything. I tell you, there's money in the roof. You look up. Whatever. Blind confidence is not confidence. That's true. True faith is, true confidence is based on evidence. So now let's build on. The Bible clearly states that Christian faith is based on confidence through what evidence? Inferential. Yeah, that's great. Inferential evidence. Perfect. I want to give a quick definition of inferential evidence.
Starting with what is wrong and proving it's wrong.
That would be proof by contradiction. That's fine. Quickly scroll up.
We believe even though we don't see.
Yeah, okay, even though we don't see it, but we believe it, and the evidence is still valid because what we can see infers that this further claim is valid. Perfect. Okay. I got the right slide without giving spoilers. Now, we should use the word confidence instead of faith. I think I made that clear. I mean, in everyday discussion. And even if you use it like in your personal discussion, you know, when I say, oh, I have faith in Jesus Christ, that doesn't really prompt you to action. When you say, I have confidence in Jesus Christ, then your brain activates it. Like, why is this the case? Why do I have confidence? Am I able to stand in court or stand at trial? If someone asks me if I have confidence. Yeah. But last part, to strengthen your Christian faith, you must strengthen your confidence by studying evidence. That's right. Perfect. Yeah. If you're gonna take a photo of a slide, this is probably it. Or we can take a photo. It's fine. Yeah, but that's everything I have. Thank you for listening.